Okay. Good evening, persons, and welcome to the first episode of the Adventures of Bastard and M.E. Gaslight Fireside readings, live from the church on Planet Quarantine. I wrote the book, so I own the copyright. Thanks for caring and respect. In tonight's session, I will begin at the beginning, because that's where the book starts. The story goes back further than that, but it's complicated. Because I am reading, I will not be looking at the chat room. However, feel free to pose questions, make comments, and offer suggestions. Aria is monitoring from another room, and I'll review them later. And if anyone says, "You should write a book about," well, you probably already know how I'll answer. Nope. Or, "You should write a book." If you do have a good question or something helpful to say, I may address the matter at the beginning of the subsequent installment of these Gaslight Fireside readings. Okay, let's go. This will be fun. Adventures of Bastard and M.E. Center Day 1. Chapter 1. Rent Your Brain. It was late morning when the phone call rang, just before the marker reached the half-day signifier on the chronometer. It was unusual for Bastard, not the Bastard, to be awake so early. He suffered from a chronic condition, one of many, that typically disabled him from waking up before the time of one major mark after the aforementioned half-day signifier signified its signification. So far, the day had flowered as any other day flower flowers, at least in relation to the flowers that had dayed since Bastard's reincarnation. For the preceding days of adventure are of Bastard's second life. Note not necessarily significant, except that, in his previous life, Bastard had never paid attention to day flowers, nor their flowering. He stared at the tidy surface of his desk, which was never cluttered with papers, nor with anything else, for that matter, because he had not much, and even less, papers. As a recently professionalized private detective, he'd yet to land any work. Maybe I should hire a new office, he said to himself as he engaged the desk in a routine game of mindless eye casting. Then he sat up and sipped at a cup that contained within an ever-depleting amount of absinthe warmed down equal parts liquid stimulant. It was whilst in the midst of this meditative idleness that the phone's ring rang. No one had ever called him before. Bastard sent his eyes around the room, scanning it for any clues as to where this noise was coming from and what meaning it bore. After a timed series of rings, a harsh beep sent his body to the floor. Hands over his ears, he was still able to hear a strange voice pronounce, seemingly unprompted, that Bastard was presently unavailable. But it was obvious that Bastard was present and available because he had nothing to do. While the unattributable invisible mouth continued, unheeded, Bastard got up off the floor and strolled over to the kitchen. He opened the cooler, pulled out a sandwich, and watched the door close on its own. Amazing, he thought to himself. Then he began to unwrap the glass sheet he had utilized to preserve the prepared consummation's freshness, having made the delectable gustatory item earlier that year. Thin but durable whole wheat paper bread comprised 7-year-old foot-stomped mashed gooseberries, pigeon wing twig bones, flounder bile marinated cat tail, thinly sliced as well as pressed dinosaur shallots, a thick slice of Yeti lard topped with purple-orange peels within a papier-mâché crust, all drowned in a Madras corduroy lysergic acid dressing. He stumbled into the bathroom, where he tossed the glass wrapper into a garbage bag that was full of garbage that he would never throw away, took 2 bites of the sandwich and flushed it down the toilet. He pooped in the sink while brushing his teeth in the bath, dried himself off with a few half-threes of shoes, and, resuming his seat at his desk, adopted a sense of sophistication in order to press some blinking button light on a black box on his desk, which said, "Bastard, it's M.E. Meet at our old spot, soon as you can." He recognized the voice immediately, even though it was one he had not heard in many, many circles. The circronometer on the wall looked at him and said, 11:40:50, Ph.D. "Give me 15. I'll be there prior," Bastard noised into the black box but at the circle keeper. As Bastard gathered his things in preparation to leave his office, I decided to accompany him. Then I did. It was a sunny day in the city of Metropolis and very cloudy. Bastard exited the building and crossed the street, his eyes lowering from the sky below to the street above, between which he tasted a billboard advertisement splattered upon one of the new condominiums, one of many that were ejaculating all over the city at that time. "Rent your brain," it shouted in big black letters on a yellow back. In quieter print below, 1,000 balls per week. Painless and risk-free. Call now. Below that, telephonic contact data. And most hush-hush, "We promise not to sell any private or personal information to any alien entities without first drawing your blood." The sign was signed by Free Enterprise 999. Bastard didn't break step, just kept walking. Chapter 2. The heads of the organization reunite. Miguel Evangelista was sitting at a table in the corner by the window. As Bastard approached his old friend, he calculated about 3 decimals since their last encounter. They shook hands formally, like best friends do. "So," Bastard cringed in pain as he sat down, smiling, "what are you doing back in the nation? Correct me if I'm wrong, but your physical presence privilege was revoked some time ago. Eternal external exile. Never to be allowed back within the border that protects our great kingdom from the lesser and most disgusting lands beyond. Right?" "You're not wrong," his friend answered. "In fact, in that sense, you are right. However, I've been granted temporary amnesty for 1 week. They've flown M.E. here to testify at Grand Justice Court." "And the magistrates let you back in for that?" "Appears so, man. I volunteered, and they offered. Seems they're desperate. They really want to get this guy, public enemy number 10, and for some time. And only I know where he is." M.E. inhaled and then exhaled. Bastard regarded his friend. The face had aged a bit, but he knew that this was M.E. "Listen, I don't have much time. We need to start working now." Today is Center Day. The official, conditional, beneficial, absolute judicial hearing is to be held on Wonder Day. Next day, I'm out. Back down beyond south. And them ain't fucking around. If I don't catch that flying saucer on time, well, they promised, in writing, that they will torture M.E. through life to death. Maybe even through death to life again. Bring M.E. back like they did you. His wide, dark eyebrows arched and his eyes danced around a fire, naked. Someone in a shaved head and brown kimono interrupted them with a harmless whisper. Would you mind something to drink? Bastard pointed at Miguel's glass, trying not to appear too anxious. The stranger turned around and left. M.E. pushed his glass towards Bastard, who smiled, dehydrated. He took a decent hit and slid it back. Some time passed. Others stayed. All right, Miguel began. But then M.E. had to pause at the return of the attender, who set down a glass with Bastard's whiskey. He tasted it good. Bastard and M.E. hadn't seen each other since B ran that stretch, and that was years before he first died. The conversation meandered through the evening. Getting high and getting drunk, they caught up and talked a lot of shit. Love was clear. All right, Bastard resumed. You gotta tell me, who are you testifying against? What's the case? Ah, yes, you'll like this. Me. M.E. can say the word me in this context because he's not talking about M.E. He's talking about Newt Humbert. What? You heard M.E.? All right, go on. Remember the guns and butter scandal of 293? How could I forget? It was all over the announcement some time ago. Bastard paused. He looked at M.E., who leaned in a fraction of a degree to confirm his singular role orchestrating that scandal. Bastard grinned and exclaimed, "Ha! That's right. They have no idea, of course. They're looking for a highly developed being named Newt Humbert. Clever little fellow. And I have hard evidence against the man, enough to put him away for all rotations to come. So they're bringing M.E. in as an eyewitness." Bastard's grin widened beyond what seemed physically possible, or at the very least proportional and comfortable. And you're not afraid they might catch on to you? First of all, no, M.E., nearly offended. Second of all, no. Thirdly, the information that I have for the court will lead them to conclude, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the absolute and unquestionable guilt of one Mr. Newt Humbert, while at the same time leading them further and further down the wrong track course that they'd have to pedal 70 twice at 0.43 seconds per horn rim on a tiny tandem bicycle before they could catch up with M.E. Bastard's friend snickers. Furthermore, if you remember, I wasn't here when that shit went down. I'd already been exiled. M.E. looked around the room. So, okay, quick though, for the record, Newt Humbert's a dude, right? Not a slimy, a little amphibious creature? Yes and no. He is a person man. He's not little, but he is slimy and slightly amphibious. It's his real name, though, for real. I mean, I gave it to him. He's my creation. So he doesn't exist outside of my mind, then theirs, and now yours. So why do they call him Newt? What? That's his first name. Just call him Newt. You don't have to say Newt. The bald kimono arrived with more liquor juice. When he/she left them, Bastard considered aloud, "So, officially, you are here for this official reason, which is not an officious reason for your being here, nor for my being to here. I don't think I get it, my dear friend. You have nothing to benefit from testifying in the guns and butter trial. And as much as I know that you love me, I'm well that I'm not the sole purpose for your detour to the nation. So, am I within reason to conclude that you intend to benefit from this visit other ways?" Bastard pawed his whiskey glass, spinning it in its approximate place. I like that, it's a good reminder. With his eyes, he looked at M.E.'s eyes. "What are you doing here? For real, for real?" "Well, Bastard, we have work to do. I need your help organizing the organization's new operation for organized confusion. Needed to see you in person and wanted to be here for the initial stages. I need your help putting together a crew." "What do we need?" "We need an operator, a safecracker, a master planner, probably 1 or 2 form fitters, a munitions specialist, a cat burglar. Other needs will present themselves. I have Haile Lebori and Dr. Diamande already on board." "Consider it done. What are we talking about?" "Free Enterprise 999. You passed a billboard on your way here." "As you know." I nodded, but said nothing. "FE 999 is our key to the lock on the door that opens to a room full of balls. I need you to look into FE 999. Find out everything you can. Who they are, where they are, what game they're playing, how they keep score. All that shit." "What's our end game?" "Can't share that yet. Of course, I can, but I don't want to, I guess. Probably because it isn't important at the moment. I'm waiting for some news from the South. Then, we're on. Your immediate mission? Find us a way into FE 999's main control room. We need to get in there to fuck with their pooters. I don't know how we'll manage this, but I have no doubt in your abilities. You will always be the most charming con I know, Bastard. I am certain of this and little else." "Thank you for your appreciation," he replied. "What do we have on them already?" "Quite a lot, my lighter-skinned brother. But I have even more than that." Bastard waited for M.E. to continue. "I'm confident that I know what they're up to. And if I'm right, then we are in a position to make enormous balls. It'll be our biggest job to date. Serious risks. Elephantine returns." Is it elephantine? I think it's elephantine. I gotta look that up. M.E. smiled. "And judging from your current listing in the Cellophonic People's Locator Handbook, you could use the balls." Pause. "What's the fuck is you doing as a private dick, anyway?" "Why? You think I should go public?" "Ha!" They giggled. "But for real, to answer your question, nothing," Bastard proudly desponded. "I've had this business card for several hands now. Haven't had the opportunity to play it. No work yet." "That's wonderful," M.E. congratulated his friend. "Yes, it's been great," Bastard smiled. "Back to the footwork in hand. I'll get on top and underneath this FE999 shit, and I'll put together a crew. You said the trial come Wonder Day? Yeah, man. Gives us 5 switches to launch this shit. Not nearly enough time, meaning way too much. Meantime, I have to go about the preliminary procedures for the trial. I have several meetings with my lawyers, the prosecutor's lawyers, their lawyers' lawyers, their lawyers' mothers, their mothers' daughters, the daughters' lawyers, the lawyers' daughters. That's personal, actually, not business. And the legal representatives of guns, as well as of butter, plus the newly formed Coalition for the Protection of Civic Oppression by the citizens' interests representing the production, preservation, propaganda, distribution, anti-abolition, and fair trade of dairy products and firearms. And, of course, Newt Humbert's lawyers, who have no apparent scruples defending someone they've never met and never will, who's definitely guilty, and who won't be at the trial because he doesn't fucking exist. The two friends shared a double smile on a cone with rainbow sprinkles. Leave now and return even sooner with your findings and our crew. Bastard downed the rest of his grain and stood up, reaching into his pants. Put your balls away, it's on ME. They shook hands. FE999, get into it, deep. This part is all you. We need to get in there. I'll see you tomorrow at 37, okay? Okay. 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 Isn't this nice? Chapter 3. Sometimes a woman's voice alone. On his way back to the office from the bar, Bastard wrote down the phone number from the FE999 advertisement. The phone number. And he dialed it as soon as he had reassumed his seat in his chair after entering the building, ascending the escalator wing shaft to the 33rd floor, passing down the hallway to his door, click-clack brown shoes, sole linoleum floor, unlocking his front door, and walking to behind his desk. I'm getting a signal. What's up? Oh. Never mind. Thank you for calling Free Enterprise 999. If you know your party's extension, why did you call this number? If you are calling to claim your free chance to win a lifetime prescription to your choice of PD=T disc replacements, please press 1. If you are calling regarding our extremely popular Rent Your Brain program, press 2. If you are calling to place an order with our equally popular licensed pharmaceutical distribution center, press 3. If you are calling to register a compliment, press 4. Employment opportunities, 5. If you are calling regarding any legal issues, please hang the fuck up now. To hear your options again, please hang up first, then press the redial button on your telephone touchpad, and you may experience deja vu. Fuck, this is exhausting. Bastard hung up the phone and thought about his options. He rolled a cigarette, smoked it, took a nip from his flask. After considering the choices and calculating what was hopefully the best approach, he decided to call again from a payphone out on the street outside, where he dialed the number again. This time, however, he heard something else. if you are calling regarding Rent Your Brain, this offer is temporarily unavailable. Everything else is the same. Fuck, bastard. He decided to press the third button. A woman's voice said, "Free Enterprise 999, Licensed Pharmaceutical Distribution Center. My name is Des. How may I assist you?" "I'd like to place an order for a gross dilaudid." They still make that, right? "No problem. Just one gross?" "Nah, make it a gross. That's a lot." Yeah. "Whatever. Your address, please?" Bastard gave her his P.O.'s box. "Okay, your voice bank has been deducted the sum of 49 7 balls. You will also receive 90% complimentary, a 90-second meatball rebate with your purchase, valid at participating Interplanetary Scuba Diving Incorporated underwater restaurants, hotels, spas, baths, torture chambers, and pits of doom, nation narrow. Thank you for calling FE 999 and have a happy day." "Wait a second. Des?" "No, it's Des." "Okay, got it. Sorry. My name is Bastard," said Bastard. "Do you like your job?" "I'm afraid I'm not qualified to answer that question. Happy day." "Qualified? I don't think that's the right word. Anyway, hold up. I'm sorry. I'm looking for work, that's all." "I'm afraid we're not hiring, Bastard, but if you'd like, you may leave a message with our employment center." "Thanks, but no thanks. I want to talk to you." He decided to take a chance. "I'd like to see you." Silence. More silence. Longer. Then more. Then, "Meet me at the Brain Liver Cafe tomorrow, 15. That's when and where I take my afternoon stimulants." He was surprised that she agreed and hung up the phone without saying goodbye. Once back in his office, he fixed up and slowly sipped several scotches until he passed out for a bit. I'm going to read the next chapter, and that's the end of the first day, so I'll be another couple minutes. Chapter 4, Assemblage. Bastard spent the rest of the day making contact with some old friends. M.E. had said that they needed an operator, a safecracker, a master planner, probably one or two form fitters, a weapons specialist, a cat burglar. Other needs will present themselves. I have Haile Leboric and Dr. Diamande already on board. Yes, that is what M.E. said. Bastard knew Leboric and Diamande well, and he was looking forward to seeing them again. The fact that these two science experts were involved suggested to Bastard that the operation had something to do with having to know science. This much, he was certain he knew. Since the purpose of the mission was to do something technical inside Free Enterprise 999's main control room, he started with the role of operator. The mechanic was Bastard's first pick. The man was not, as his name suggests, a contract killer. Rather, he lived his name by illegally fixing people's computer machines, as well as other technological, mechanical, and analog things with problems. His real name was Machine, which is pretty funny. However, he thought that name was too obvious, so he literally changed the letteral order. The mechanic had a record, but when he was caught and tried, he didn't have a turntable, so the magistrates gave him 18. Hoping that this term had ended and the man was around, Bastard set out in search of the organization's best operator. Without much effort, Bastard found the mechanic lounging about the old factory yards by the dirty water river. They used to go down there together to watch the abandoned buildings burn and smoke and crumble, so it was the first place he looked. The fires were still burning, the smoke still smoldering, the walls still falling away. It would never end. Bastard knew this as an absolute. The two characters were very pleased to see each other. Without going into much detail, the mechanic readily agreed to join up. Damn, dude. Miguel Evangelista and Bastard. Two motherfuckers I thought I'd never see again. Why is that, man? Huh? Because M.E. was banished and you died. Oh, right. They laughed at Bastard's space cadettedness. Ha ha ha! In unison. Then, alright, man, let's roll. The mechanic popped himself off the concrete steps upon which he had been sitting. Whatever those stairs had led to was long gone. Bastard appreciated this. Side by side, they walked away from the Black River, back to the hood. From the mechanic, Bastard learned who was dead now, who was still around and working, and with his help, Bastard would succeed in assembling an ideal team. They located the highly skilled form fitters Sasya Stasia and Nanette with ease. The two criminal lesses were hanging out on the corner of their block. It was their corner. In fact, it's where Bastard had seen them last, before his death. Although Sasya and Nanette weren't conjoined twins, nor related to each other by blood, they often spoke the same words at the same times. Not always, thankfully, because that could be annoying. Each was an individual. They were very close, but not the same. What, have you two moved at all since I seen you? Shock and confusion and excitement as they clocked Bastard's image, and then exclaimed, "Oh shit! Look who's back, Black!" Smiles on all faces. What's happening, baby? The old friends embraced lovingly. Glad you asked, Bastard chuckled. Check this. M.E. is in town. Fuck off. Yup. Long story. But I'll let M.E. tell you, because he is a better storyteller. We're putting something together. You want to work? You'll have to leave the corner, though. You're still an ass. It's nice to see that you are true, as always. And yeah, for sure, we're down. A hot wind blew from off the river and down the streets. And although it smelled bad, Bastard inhaled deeply. He was good. Alright, that's the end of this session of the Gaslight Fireside readings. Those first 4 chapters make up the first day, center day, of Adventures of Bastard and M.E. The next time we do this, I'll read from the second day, post-center day 2. Oh, that's why I shouldn't have thrown that on the floor. I'm going to let my hat on fire. Wanted to say thanks for tuning in, friends. I'll let you know when we do it again. That's a dog coming. Tonight at 9, Donuts is gonna take over, so this is just like real life. I'll see you at the bar after the reading.